Now welcome back to the channel. Now the people are skeptical after family members and media hosts were barred from entering the court for Mr. Silvera's first court appearance, seeing that law enforcement initially faced scrutiny for the way Mrs. Silvera's murder case was investigated in the first place, seeing that it was only after the autopsy that the people heard that this was a case of murder, as initially people had said Mrs. Silvera passed in her sleep. So the people might ask now why nobody couldn't go in. And we couldn't hear from Mr. Silvera's attorney, and they will continue the reasoning. Look and listen.
I firstly am going to say that I have to follow the strictures that were imposed by the court in terms of this preliminary aspect of the case, and my discourse with you will be limited. What I will say, however, is that the matter is fixed for the 8th of February, when by then it is expected that the relevant documentation would have been provided to the defense. That's the first thing. And secondly, I think it's important to note, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say that observations have been made in social media, which, by the way, isn't social at all. But such is the nature of life. But I would caution, and that may be an exercise in futility, because there are many persons who have sought to try and convict already. And that's unfortunate, and I will not go beyond that. And just to say that the file is incomplete, and there's a particular document that we need to inspect to determine the way forward in the way of an application for bail for Mr. Silvera. Beyond that, myself and Ms. Patrice Riley, who represent Mr. Silvera, would not want to comment and go into the details and intricacies of the matter, because that would be simply adding fuel to fire and to cause the discourse, the public discourse, to go on. And again, I think it's important that irrespective of your views, there are young children involved, and it is a very, very, very difficult time for these 3 children. I think that's been euphemistic, and I am asking the public, I'm pleading, maybe again an exercise in futility, but to exercise some level of restraint, not barring anyone from their constitutional right of freedom of expression and so on. But the life and the role of a defense lawyer is to provide defense. Everybody, every person, every citizen has a right to an attorney. And once we are in receipt of full disclosure, then we'll be able to determine how we treat this matter going forward. Thank you very much. Understandably, very apprehensive, very concerned, and as one would expect. Beyond that, again, I would not want to say anything at this stage.
And he maintains that he's innocent of the charge?
He has maintained his position. He has maintained his position of innocence from day one. I am not saying that he is, because I understand that there was a report to that effect. No lawyer should ever really say that, because if you were so certain, then you'd be a witness. But certainly what I can say with great emphasis is that he is indicating that he's innocent. We have our instructions, we have our job to do, and it is for the court, ultimately, and members of the jury to determine whether or not he's innocent. That's not my role. My role, our role, is to provide a defense as per our instructions. Wherever our instructions lead us, that's where we go. Within the confines, always acknowledging and consistent with the canons of the profession and the rules and good ethics. That is.
Some people are speculating, say this was a secret court hearing so that Mr. Silvera could get bail. Now, first and foremost, this was not a bail hearing, and the court appearance was not a secret. And this is why media hosts were present. And for the better part, it seems that if this was a decision made by the judge, and it was made last minute. Now, as to why the judge do it, only the judge could say that. What the judge did say is that media houses will be allowed, along with family, to be present during further court proceedings. Now, as it pertains to bail, people don't feel it possible, as added to the list of crimes Law enforcement is also saying a cover-up took place. Of course, people are going to say this is a wealthy Jamaican with vast resources and a whole heap of connections. Now, some people that wonder if the family show up for the first court appearance of Mr. Silvera and if they would be in support of Mr. Silvera and his freedom. Now, the fact that we not see media houses are put out in the interview with the family, it seems as if the family declined any interviews. And while it might just be a headline for a media house, this is these people's lives. Them just put a wife, them just lay a wife to rest. And now the husband is being accused of taking the wife's life. This is what they call an emotional roller coaster. Now media houses like nationwide did confirm that the family was indeed at the first court appearance of Mrs. Silvera. Now law enforcement said they're going to speak to some former MPs who visited Mr. Silvera. And I guess seeing that ballistics match Mr. Silvera's weapon, these individuals will probably be able to can tell if Mr. Silvera had his weapon on him. If it was in view, means if they need seat anywhere. And for those who are wondering if Mr. Silvera was there, the fact say my attorneys never point out say his alibi is that he was not there. The fact that law enforcement, I say, former members of parliament visited the house after Mrs. Silvera passed, all point to the fact that he did it. Allegedly. Now, who made the call? And the people still want to know if the Silveras were experiencing any marital troubles. People are going to say, yeah, in a relationship, everybody have arguments. Not true. We are talking about two personalities, two different people coming together in a union. Of course, they have different opinions, and they have differences. But for somebody to shoot them wife 3 times, some argument did have to go on. Now, as it pertains to Mr. Silvera's plea, his attorneys have pointed out that Mr. Silvera is still maintaining his innocence. Still saying no do it. And based on Jamaican law, he is presumed innocent until the court can prove otherwise. But even though it wasn't a bail hearing, he was still remanded into the custody of the state. And despite what people might think, because he's a rich individual, whole heap of connections, prominent member of society, law enforcement is saying no special treatment is being given to Mr. Silvera. We dare say some inmates that say king size mattress did bring in. Most Jamaicans who hear that story are shocked. For know something like this can take place. A husband take the life of a wife. But people point to the fact that currently on trial for the murder of his wife is Beachy Stout. And the people are point out, say it's not the first time. And his son overseas was also charged for the very same crime. Not the crime his father has been tried for, but crime similar. Death of a wife. And some people that said in the town where Beachy Stout does business, he is what you would call a prominent person, a rich individual, person with a connections, who's have orchestrating the death of his wife, hiring the person to take the life of his wife. And when details revealed, people, I think it was reported that say the person who took her life was somebody who was paid to get close to her romantically. We don't know, one crazy story. And some people are saying do it for the insurance money, as was the scenario before We not say true or wrong, but this is a man who already have millions and own businesses will generate millions. People can really agree this. So. Talk to me in the comment section. Tell me what you think. And if you're new to the channel, just a pass through, click the subscribe icon and then the bell icon. And of course, put it on all. And this is how you know will be notified of all fresh content. As soon as fresh content is uploaded and made available for you right here upon the platform. The like icon is also in close proximity to the share icon. Drop a like and bust a share. And tell a friend, tell them, sister and them, brother them. So check out the channel, check out the reason, and also join the discussion. As I said, the comment section of 24/7, and it never lucky yet. All you have to do is just be respectful and mindful of the guidelines. Now, of course, my sentiments for you and yours is for to live, love, and prosper, and for to stay tuned until we reason again.